Ladies and gentlemen, we are back and ready to put some money in your pocket on UFC Kansas City. In this video, I'm going to give you 3 of my official plays in the Home of Fight Picks winnable. I'm going to give you a money line, I'm going to give you a round prop bet, and I'm going to give you a nice plus money prop bet as well. In addition, I'm going to give you every single one of my DFS plays, which if you tailed the DFS plays I gave you on UFC 314, you know we made some big bank. Okay, boys, we hit the 100X, we hit the 20X, we swept the board, we made some serious money on UFC 314, and we've been super hot. 6 cards in a row, we've been profitable, and 3 of those cards are super profitable. So let's keep the hot streak rolling. I'm going to let you know throughout this video where you can get every single one of my bets this week absolutely free. But before we do that, you know what we got to do? We got to recap how the best bet show went for UFC 314. The Moneyline bet on Virna Jandiroba did hit. Pretty much, I mean, it was a 30-27. I thought she could get the sub. She had 3 sub attempts. She was just edging me. I had her by sub at plus 250. She was edging me really hard. But she couldn't get it done. She gets it done by decision, but we had a nice little play on the money line there, so we cashed that. The round prop bet, under 1.5. Dominic Reyes sniped him with the left. I said in the video, I'm like, you know, Nikita Krylov kind of rushes in. I think Reyes could maybe snipe him with that piston left hand. Exactly what he did. So the plus 135 on the under 1.5 cash. We had 1 unit on that. And if you join the free Telegram, I gave out the free prop bet because I didn't have it in the video. I didn't have any prop bets open, or I didn't have any prop bets live just yet. The lines weren't exactly out, but we played Julian Erosa by sub at plus 400. It did not hit. Had many opportunities for him to look to grab the neck with Darren Elkins, but he just was content with getting the TKO. Got to respect it. Plus 400, we lose 0.25 units there. So overall, we're positive 1.79 units last week on the 3 bets that I gave you. On the year, we're minus 2.41 units. As I said, I'm giving you 3 of my official plays. I got many more official plays, so it's kind of tough to pick exactly which ones I want to give you. And this is earlier in the week when I don't have all my bets locked in, but we did pick up a nice little win there. The DFS plays are locked in early, and I gave those to you last week. We absolutely swept the board. We swept the board 8-0. So we positive 8 units on just the 2-pick entries alone. Completely swept it. So you know that means the long shots hit. The 20X payout on Underdog, easy. The 100X payout on Betr picks, easy. $100 into 10K. I had $100 to win 2K, I think, on the 20X. Or maybe it was 150, I forget. But we made a lot of money on the DFS plays for UFC 314. And there's going to be some people that are very happy about this, right? But there's also going to be some people that are going to be like, oh, this is the one you've hit in so long. Boys, we're talking about a 100X multiplier. Okay, you have to hit one of those every 2 years. If you're doing one a card, one of those every 2 years, and you're in the profit. And we hit one just back in November. We hit this one in April. So if you're going to hate on it and just be like, okay, you finally hit one, congrats, go ahead. But this is why we have the results to back it up. In 2024, we were positive 66.52 units on 2-pick entries alone. 2-pick entries alone. If you tailed all the 5-pick entries on Underdog, you would have been up 58x your money. 58x your money. If you tailed all the long shot plays on Betr picks, you'd be positive 115x your money. These are the results from last year in 2024. So this has shown you that last year we were profitable, very profitable. And this year, throughout 4 months, we're positive 25.05 units on 2-pick entries alone. If you tail all the 5-pick entries on Underdog, you're 27xing whatever you're putting down on them. And that's just through 13 cards. The long shot plays on Betr picks, we've hit one 100x multiplier minus the 12 that we didn't hit. We're at 88x payouts. 88x payouts. So you can hate or you can be smart and you can tail. Tail the kid, because I've proven it over a long term that we're going to be making money on these DFS plays. Some call me the DFS king. I'm cool with that. Boys, lock in, tail the DFS plays. I'll give those to you throughout this video. But let's get into it with the bets. First bet's going to be a money line, and it's going to be Carlos Prates on the money line at plus 112. I'm putting 1 unit on it. I'm not going crazy, but I do believe that Carlos Prates should be the favorite here. I do. When the fight was announced, I was like, okay, Prates should be favored, but Ian can maybe weasel his way to a decision victory or something like that by just having better fight IQ, having a good game plan, implementing it well. But then I saw Prates was the underdog, and I went, I don't know that he should be the underdog here. And I looked at the tape more, and I really look at this matchup, and I see Carlos Prates' ceiling is just so high. It's so high. His ability to knock you out at any point in the fight is there. Obviously, he's most dangerous in those first and second rounds, but we haven't really seen this guy slow down. We haven't. And a lot of people will be like, oh, he'll slow down after the first 2 rounds. Maybe. But have we seen it? No. And is Ian Garry a guy that's going to go in there and push some relentless pace, tiring guys out? No. Ian Garry is more of a tactician from the outside. And yeah, he could probably win some minutes against Carlos Prates with his striking from the outside. But I don't know that he's going to, do any damage to Carlos Prates. I don't know that he's going to wear on him by doing that. And if you're going to go the route to say Ian Garry is going to go and grapple up Carlos Prates, good luck. Good luck, man. Never in my betting career have I ever looked at a career striker and banked on them just going in there and grappling a guy based on him having maybe a slight edge in the grappling. That's just not something that I'm going to do. I don't advise anybody else to do it. So if you're going to bank on Ian Garry to go in there, get takedowns, and submit Carlos Prates, good luck to you. But I'm going to take Carlos Prates here at plus 112. I think he's the better striker, more dangerous striker. I think his ceiling is super high. Trading at the Fighting Nerds, I believe his ground game is going to continue to evolve. He's a black belt in BJJ. Okay, obviously he doesn't use it in every single fight. He doesn't need to use it. He's purely a striker, but he can grapple. He does have a decent guard off his back as well. So I don't think Ian Garry is going to take him down and just submit him right away. Maybe he could take him down, get some minutes there, but I just don't see him being super effective with it. So give me Carlos Prates on the money line. 10-fight knockout win streak. Fighting Nerds undefeated in the UFC. You're giving me plus money on the nightmare? I'll take it all day. Plus 112, 1 unit on that. Lock it in. Now let's get into the Underdog Plays. So here's the slips that we've hit in 2025. We hit the 18x payout on the UFC London card, and last card, UFC 314, we hit the 20x. Since 2024, we're positive 91.57 units. So those are the 2-pick entries alone, which I showed you the results earlier in this video. If you skip through this video and you want to go take a look at it, there's 2024, there's 2025. 2-pick entries alone, we're positive 91.57 units. If you're in one of these highlighted states, download the Underdog app. There's a link down in the description below. Use code AJIVE, get your deposit bonus up to $1,000. Or if you're watching on a TV or a laptop, computer, whatever, whip out your phone. If you don't have the Underdog app yet, scan this QR code. You can download it there. It'll be a lot easier. It'll auto-implement the code as well. Join up and put these plays in, okay, boys? I also want to say before I get into this, just because we hit big last week doesn't mean you should up the amount of money you're putting on these plays, okay? You got to be consistent with it. I've shown consistent results. I'm going to be profitable by the end of this year. I am very profitable throughout this year. So please do not go crazy upping your amount that you're putting on these plays. Be consistent with it. Play for the long term. Don't play for the big payout right away. Just be consistent with what you're doing. Even if we're, cashing like crazy, don't up your unit size. But let's get into the plays. Alatang Haley, lower than 32.5 significant strikes. He's at a severe reach disadvantage. Damon Blackshear, very good grappler. Haley is more of a wrestler. He's not very effective in the stand-up, and he's not a guy that throws a lot of volume. He's really going to throw with power to try to set up his takedowns. Maybe he fights differently here. I don't really see it. Blackshear's a guy that if you're on the ground with Blackshear, he's very, very dangerous. So I could see the possibility for early finish here. We'll talk about that later. But I like Alatang Haley lower than 32.5. He's not a high-volume guy. Reach disadvantage, and more likely than not wants to grapple against a very good grappler. So not going to be landing a lot of significant strikes there. Polyana Viana, lower than 15.5 significant strikes. Jacqueline Amaram, very dangerous on the ground. She wants to get the fight to the ground. Polyana Viana is not going to be landing significant strikes if she's on her back. Polyana, not a high-volume girl. A lot of her fights do tend to end early, so I think we could see an early finish here as well. And she's shown that if she's on the ground, she's going to take the way out. So she's actually hit this in 6 of her last 7 fights, and Amarim's opponents have hit this in 3 straight fights as well. I know it's a low number, but I think it hits, man. I don't know that Polyana gets over 10, before she gets taken down and probably choked out. So lower than 15.5 for Polyana. John Castaneda, higher than 1.5 takedowns. He averages close to 2 takedowns per fight, and Chris Gutierrez has been taken down at least twice in majority of his most recent fights. I mean, he's getting taken down. He's not giving up these quick submissions or anything. He's usually the guy that gets taken down, will build up within a minute or two. And I think that's great for us because Castaneda, I don't think is some supreme BJJ guy on the ground, but I know he needs to wrestle here. He needs to wrestle here. So if he can get 2 takedowns, this fight's favored to go 15 minutes. 2 takedowns over the course of 15 minutes, I think it's easy money. So give me John Castaneda to get at least 2 takedowns. Michel Pereira, lower than 32.5. He's not a high volume guy unless you're going to just stand in front of him and, kickbox with him. And I don't think Abus is going to do that. Abus has a reach advantage. He's got a length advantage, especially with his kicks. Pereira is more of a explosive type of striker. He's not going to go out there and be like jabbing and leg kicking you, racking up significant strikes. He wants to make his significant strikes count. And those are a lot of times where I look at that and I'm like, well, he's not a high volume guy. This fight could end very early. I think Pereira could finish him in the first. So I like the lower than 32.5. Also have to add in the fact that Abus might want to wrestle here. And if he gets the wrestling going, Pereira's not going to be landing significant strikes off his back. So I like the lower than 32.5 on Michel Pereira. And this one is probably going to be a little bit sketchy to you, but I think it should hit. It should absolutely hit. I think the number is just way too low. Zhang Mingyang, higher than 28.5 significant strikes. And the reason I say this is due to his opponent being Anthony Smith. Anthony Smith is not a guy that is chinny. He's not a guy that is just going to go out off the first punch. He's going to take his beating, and I think Zhang Mingyang is going to be able to rack up a ton of significant strikes on Anthony Smith before the eventual TKO probably comes in. And if it doesn't, then that's just great for us because Zhang Mingyang should easily get at least 35 to 40 significant strikes off within the first round. Easily. Anthony Smith is much slower. He's very hittable. And when you have him hurt, he doesn't really, he doesn't recover the best. And when I say that, he shells up and he'll just take the significant strikes. If you look at him against Dominic Reyes, Reyes landed 121. 121, that fight didn't even go 2 rounds. What happens when Anthony Smith gets hurt? He just takes his beating and the significant strikes rack up. Anthony Smith, I don't think he's been knocked out in the first round in the UFC. All of his TKO losses come in the second, the third. He takes his beating, man. And I think this is a big step up in Zhang Mingyang's career to where he's going to have to put a beating on Anthony Smith before, the ref finally steps in. So considering it's at 28.5, I like the higher there. There's your 20x payout on Underdog. The 2x payouts here, Haley and Viana, both lower. 2 correct wins 3x your money. And we're taking Michel Pereira, lower, and Zhang Mingyang higher. 2 correct wins 3x your money. Once again, if you want to lock those plays in, you probably should. If you're in one of these available states, use code AJIVE, get your deposit bonus up to $1,000. Put these plays in for free. Link down in the description below, or you can scan the QR code there to download and lock them in. And if you're one of these guys that isn't part of the Homo Fight Picks winnable, and you just want to wait until I give them to you for free later in the week, because when I put these plays in, I put them in usually on Monday, if not Tuesday. And then the lines tend to move a little bit, and then I give them out for free on Thursday night, Friday, and the lines tend to adjust it a little bit. So if you need another spot to shop the best lines, join Chalkboard. There's a link down in the description below. It's available in all these green states. Use code HeyJive, get the deposit bonus up to $100 so you can put some plays in for free. They have significant strikes. They have decision wins, sub wins, KO wins. It's another tool in the arsenal. So if you're looking at Underdog and you don't like the line, check out Chalkboard. Maybe they have a better line so you can avoid the possibility of getting screwed by 1 or 2 significant strikes, something like that. It's another tool to have. Link down in the description below. Let's get into the round prop bet. We're taking this fight to not go the distance at even money. And you're probably going to look at Alatang Haley and be like, okay, he hasn't been finished in the UFC. But his level of competition is super, super low. And Damon Blackshear, 13 of his 16 victories come inside the distance. 13 of his 16 wins come inside the distance. So this guy is very dangerous. He's a BJJ black belt. He's a lot bigger than a lot of these guys. He's got some nasty striking on the feet. Great knees up the middle. He doesn't have the heaviest of hands, but his knees up the middle and his kicks are pretty solid to where he could probably hurt Alatang Haley on the feet, who's a lot shorter. Those knees up the middle are going to be huge. And then when the fight hits the ground, Alatang Haley has not faced any grapplers in the UFC. Like, literally none. None of them. And I don't know if that's just because Haley's more of a wrestler and guys aren't, they don't want to go to the ground with him. Maybe that's the case for Damon, but I think Damon probably finishes Haley if the fight does hit the ground, but his subline's like plus 125. So I'm just going to play the fight to not go the distance here at plus 100. I think his inside the distance props like plus 115. We're just playing it safe. Maybe Haley clips him with some big right hand and knocks him out. So I'll just take the fight to not go the distance at plus 100. If it hits the mat, I think Blackshear is going to get a sub because Haley hasn't faced any type of grapplers. And when he did face some submission attempts, he was in a pretty bad position, but it was against a very low-level opponent in Gustavo Lopez. I think if Blackshear's in those positions, he finds the finish. Fight not go the distance, plus 100, 1 unit on that. There's your round prop bet for the week. Now, if you want all my bets this week, jump in the Home of Fight Picks Winnable. There's a link down in the description below. You can use code Kansas, and you'll get a 7-day free trial. On the year, I'm positive 39.96 units, so just under 40 units, and we're not even 4 months into the UFC year. We're only 13 cards in, and we're almost up 40 units on the year. So we've been absolutely cooking. My boy Nolan here is positive 12.2 units on the year so far. So we've been absolutely crushing over 50 units on the year so far. We're on a 6-fight win streak. So these are the results from every card that has happened in 2025 for the UFC. 6-fight win streak right here started with UFC 314. We're on a great, nice little streak here. We had the week off. Now we get to run it with UFC Kansas City. You want all the bets, jump in the Home of Fight Picks Winnable. Link down in the description below. Use code Kansas. You get a 7-day free trial. That's where you're going to get every single one of my bets every single week. And when I post the DFS plays earlier in the week, you're going to get them right when I put them in. That's huge because you don't have to deal with these lines being moved. So you don't have to worry about, this one got bumped 5 significant strikes. Is that going to mess me up? You'll get it right away earlier in the week. Let's get into the prop bet. We're going to take Malcolm Wellmaker here by KO at plus 350 for a half a unit. I think Malcolm Wellmaker is a real talent when it comes to his striking. I think he cuts angles really well. I think his timing is really well. And his one-shot knockout power is absolutely there. He's 30 years of age, making his UFC debut. Beautiful KO on the Contender Series. Cameron Simon, young guy, coming off a TKO loss against Peyton Talbot. Peyton Talbot pretty much put one of the nastiest beatings I've seen a young guy take. Like, you could tell in that fight, Cameron Simon had the youthful chin. He has that youthful chin of where he can take shots and just kind of keep going. But eventually it was just too much. It was just too much. I think Talbot knocked him down like 3 times in the fight. This is his first fight back, and he's going up against a brutal power puncher. And if he's not ready for that power, Malcolm Wellmaker is absolutely going to make him pay for it if he finds that right shot. Wellmaker is a slight favorite when it comes to the money line odds. I'm not too keen to play him on the money line just because I don't really know how good his grappling is. Maybe Cameron Simon could get his grappling going. So I think his path to victory, more likely than not, is probably a knockout, and it's at plus 350. So I'm going to take Wellmaker at plus 350 to get a knockout here just for a half a unit. I think he's the real deal when it comes to punching and punching power. Got some nice kicks as well. And Cameron Simon is hittable on the feet. Let's ride. Let's hit it. Plus 350. There's your prop bet for the week. Let's get into the better picks plays. Here's the 100x payout we hit on UFC 314. As I said earlier, we're positive 91.57 units on 2 pick entries alone since 2024. So if you're in one of these purple states, download Better Picks. There's a link down in the description below. Use code HI. Get that deposit bonus up to $250. And you can lock these plays in. The 8-legger this week, Haley lower. John Castaneda higher than 1.5 takedowns. Chelsea Chandler lower than 50.5 significant strikes. Jocelyn Edwards, her opponent, doesn't get hit all that often. This fight probably going to have some grappling to it. Chelsea Chandler doesn't throw any kicks, so you don't have to worry about a bunch of leg kicks. She's mainly a boxer. She likes to clinch. So there's a lot of opportunities for Chelsea Chandler to just not be racking up significant strikes. And I think this line at 50.5 is a little bit too high. I could see her, if it goes to a decision, I could see her getting about 40, 45, somewhere around there. But if there's a lot of grappling in this one, it could be in the 20s. So I like the lower on Chelsea Chandler. Lower than 60.5 for Giga Chikadze. Chikadze has not looked good recently. He has not looked good, and I would say his volume has dropped off significantly. Not that it was ever really there. You know, he's going to these 3-round fights where he's landing 50, 60 significant strikes. And Onama at times can be hittable, but I do think Onama, for his forward pressure and the fact that Giga likes to just kind of stick and move, he doesn't like to stand there and throw combinations. He likes to hit you with one shot and kind of move out of the way. Onama's forward pressure will probably lead him to be looking to grapple. And I think there's upside for an early finish as well. Giga's 36, coming off some injuries. Onama could easily find a finish here. Giga, nasty body kick, nasty kicks, nasty left hand, could find a finish on Onama. So at 60.5, I think it's just too high for Giga here. I like the lower on Giga. We're taking Matt Schnell lower than a half a takedown. I just don't see why Matt Schnell would need to get a takedown here. What's the reason? You know, Matt Schnell's not a normal wrestler. Like, he's not a guy that goes in there and wrestles. And if there's any matchup where you wouldn't be wanting to shoot takedowns, it's against Jimmy Flick. You know, Jimmy Flick's not a great striker, but he's a nasty BJJ guy. There's no reason Matt Schnell should be going in there looking for a takedown. No, the only thing that really scares me about this is if, you know, Matt Schnell maybe gets into some type of clinch with Jimmy Flick, and Jimmy Flick kind of pulls guard and he falls over and they count it as a takedown. But I think that's a very low possibility. So I don't know why Matt Schnell would need to get a takedown here. I like the lower than a half a takedown for Matt Schnell. Michelle Pereira lower on significant strikes. Zhang Mingyang higher. And Polyana Viana lower on significant strikes was not available on Betr Picks at the time. So I went with the lower than 8.5 minutes of fight time in that one, just as a little alternate, because I do think Amarin probably finishes her within the first 7.5 minutes of that fight. So there's your 100x multiplier. They only let me get 50 down this week, so maybe they're starting to limit me, or it was just too early in the week where they didn't have the limits high enough. But 50x or $50 wins 5,000. There's your 100x multiplier. The 2 pick entries here: John Castaneda higher than 1.5 takedowns. Chelsea Chandler lower. There's their 2x or 2 pick entry to win 3x. And this 2 pick entry to win 3x is Giga and Matt Schnell, both lower. Giga lower on strikes, Matt Schnell lower on takedowns. Tail the plays. If you're in one of these highlighted states, Betr Picks is available in all these purple states. Use code HeyJive. Get your deposit bonus up to $250. Link down in the description below, and you can put these plays in for free, and we can cash them. Appreciate you for watching. Like the video for me. Subscribe to the channel. Jump in the Homo Fight Picks Winnable. Get that 7-day free trial with code Kansas so you can get all my bets this week. We've been absolutely hot. We've been crushing it. Appreciate you all for watching. We'll be back here very soon on Friday night with the Long Shots Only live show, and we'll be back with the following card next week. Appreciate y'all. Till next time, HeyJive Picks. We out.